The case that occurred in Miami, Florida in 2008 had a profound impact on the community, especially among those who knew Emily Stevens, a beautiful young nurse. Emily, with her charm and dedication to her work, quickly won the hearts of many. Her life took a sudden turn when she met Alexander Brooks, a wealthy 50-year-old man. Despite the significant age difference, their relationship progressed quickly, leading to a marriage that many saw as fateful. However, just a few days after their lavish wedding, the community was left stunned by the sudden news that Emily had passed away unexpectedly. Her death not only saddened everyone, but also raised many questions about the true cause of this tragedy. At just 20 years old, Emily Stevens exemplified perseverance and tireless effort. Born and raised in a middle-class family, Emily understood early on the importance of studying and working hard. From childhood, she was always a good girl, diligent in her studies and willing to help those around her. This personality not only made her well-liked, but also drove her to strive for success in life. Throughout high school, Emily excelled academically, consistently ranking among the top students regardless of the subject. What made her stand out, however, was not only her high grades, but also her genuine concern for her friends and teachers. Emily was not just focused on academics, but was also actively involved in extracurricular activities. She participated in numerous clubs, charity events, and community projects, dedicating her time and energy to helping those in need. As an adult, Emily was not only recognized for her academic talents, but also for her striking appearance. She had bright eyes, a sweet smile, and a natural beauty that captivated hearts. However, what truly made Emily attractive was not just her looks, but her kindness, warmth, and friendly personality. Anyone who interacted with her could feel her sincerity and genuine care. When Emily chose to pursue a career in nursing, it wasn't a decision made on a whim. From a young age, she had developed a passion for caring for others. She was happiest when she saw the smiles of those she helped, which shaped the professional path she would follow. With hard work and dedication, Emily successfully completed her nursing program and became a promising young nurse. In her job, Emily was not only a talented nurse, but also a great colleague, always willing to assist her co-workers when needed. Her dedication to patient care was admired by all. Every time Emily entered a hospital room, she brought not only medical care but also hope and comfort to her patients. For her, being a nurse was more than just a job. It was her life's mission. Despite her professional success, Emily deeply longed for a stable life and a happy family. Her greatest goal in life was to create a warm family where she could provide love and care to her husband and children. Although she had many suitors, Emily always sought a mature man who could offer the stability and love she so deeply desired. Emily Stevens was the epitome of both outer and inner beauty, an ideal woman with simple yet meaningful dreams. In contrast, Alexander Brooks, 50, was raised in a family with a strong educational foundation. From an early age, born into a middle-class family in Miami, Alexander received a good education. His highly educated parents always emphasized learning and encouraged Alexander to develop independent thinking, which helped him become a sharp and intelligent person. From a young age, Alexander showed a keen business sense. After graduating with a business degree, he began his career in finance. With his natural talent and quick judgment, Alexander quickly climbed the ranks. He started investing in real estate, stocks, and other sectors, gradually building a solid foundation. By the age of 30, Alexander had become a self-made millionaire, and by 40, he had amassed enormous wealth and earned a reputation in the business world. Alexander was known not only for his financial success, but also for his great influence in society. He regularly attended charity events and luxurious parties, becoming one of the most prominent figures in Miami's elite. People admired Alexander for his intelligence, leadership, and vision. He was a symbol of success and a role model for many in the business world. However, behind his successful facade, Alexander always harbored deep insecurities and anxiety. The wealth and fame he had achieved weren't enough to erase his lingering concerns. Alexander constantly felt the pressure to maintain his position, fearing that a single misstep could ruin everything he had built, crashing it all down. The pursuit of perfection became a burden, leaving him in a constant state of stress. Despite having it all, wealth, fame, and power, Alexander felt a deep loneliness that he found difficult to share with others. Although he tried to hide these feelings by immersing himself in work and social engagements, the emptiness always haunted him. Emily Stevens and Alexander Brooks met one beautiful afternoon on the beach in Miami, a chance encounter that would become significant. Despite their 30-year age difference, Alexander being 50 with a composed and dignified demeanor and Emily just 20 full of vitality, the age gap didn't seem to be an obstacle for their growing relationship. It started with simple conversations, sharing everyday stories, and gradually formed into a close friendship. Initially, neither had the intention of pursuing anything further. Alexander, with his years of experience, was used to keeping his emotions in check and maintaining distance in personal relationships. Emily, on the other hand, was carefree and enjoyed spending time with her new and exciting friend. But it was precisely the age and life experience difference that created a special attraction between them. Alexander was drawn to Emily's freshness and innocence, while Emily felt safe and admired by Alexander's maturity. Their long conversations on the beach gradually turned into more private dates. They walked together under the moonlight, enjoyed romantic dinners, and shared their deepest feelings. Gradually, the relationship evolved beyond friendship, and they began to develop genuine feelings for each other. However, as their relationship deepened, Alexander started showing signs of anxiety and worry, which Emily did not immediately notice. Although he always showed love and care for her, deep down, Alexander felt a lingering insecurity. He was unsure about the future of their relationship, and even more, whether he was ready to marry again at the age of 50, especially to someone as young as Emily. Things became even more complicated when Emily discovered she was pregnant. It was a huge shock for both of them. Despite her love for Alexander, Emily couldn't help but feel confused and anxious about the future. She didn't know if she was ready to become a mother at 20 years old, or if Alexander truly wanted to start a family with her. Emily kept the secret for a few days, thinking about the best way to tell Alexander. When she finally decided to share the news with him, she did so honestly and openly. They were dining in an elegant restaurant when Emily could no longer hold it in. She looked Alexander in the eyes and told him she was pregnant. Alexander's response was a long silence, with a look of confusion on his face. Despite trying to remain calm, Alexander couldn't hide the anxiety and tension running through his mind. He knew that Emily's pregnancy would completely change their lives, and this made him feel more uncertain than ever. Although Alexander knew deep down that marrying Emily was the logical and right solution, he couldn't shake the feeling that everything was happening too quickly. He loved Emily, but he wasn't sure if that love was strong enough to overcome the challenges and responsibilities that lay ahead. Emily, noticing Alexander's anxiety, thought it was a natural reaction to the unexpected news. She reassured him, telling him they would overcome any obstacles together and that their love would be the foundation of a happy family. She tried to convince Alexander that everything would be fine, that they would be great parents, and that this was an opportunity to start a new life together. Even though he didn't want to disappoint Emily, Alexander couldn't fully accept the situation with the confidence and enthusiasm she hoped for. He agreed to marry her. But there was always a vague sense of anxiety in his heart. His distant looks, reflective moments, and strange expressions revealed that he was struggling with himself, torn between fulfilling his responsibilities and his undefined fears about the future. The marriage of Alexander Brooks and Emily Stevens began after a few months of dating, a relationship that surprised many due to their age difference. As the wedding day approached, Emily's excitement and joy stood in stark contrast to Alexander's heavy and anxious mood. Although Alexander knew that marrying Emily was the right thing to do, especially after her pregnancy, he couldn't hide his inner restlessness. The wedding day took place at a luxurious beachfront resort, the same place where they had first met. Emily looked radiant in a pure white dress, her beauty dazzling everyone in attendance. She smiled brightly, holding tightly to Alexander's hand as they walked down the aisle. However, those close to Alexander noticed something was off from the start of the ceremony. Alexander behaved strangely, attracting glances. He kept adjusting his tie nervously, glancing around, and at times seemed lost in his own thoughts. Whenever someone approached to congratulate him, he responded with forced and unnatural smiles. Alexander's close friends were puzzled by his behavior, but remained silent, assuming it was just normal pre-wedding jitters. When he stood before the priest to recite his vows, Alexander's anxiety became even more apparent. His hands trembled, and his voice was uncertain as he repeated the words. Occasionally, his eyes drifted towards the audience as if searching for an escape or some kind of confirmation, but there was none. And he knew he had no other choice but to complete the ceremony. Despite her happiness, Emily couldn't help but notice Alexander's strange behavior. She squeezed his hand tightly, trying to offer comfort and encouragement, but her efforts only seemed to make Alexander more nervous. She didn't understand why he was acting this way, but she told herself that everything would be fine as they started their new life together. After the ceremony ended and they exchanged vows, Alexander still couldn't hide his unease. While everyone around them toasted and celebrated their happiness, Alexander simply stood there with a vacant look in his eyes and a forced smile. These unusual gestures not only worried Emily, but also led many of the guests to start whispering. Deep down, perhaps Alexander knew that he wasn't ready for this marriage. He felt the pressure of social responsibility and Emily's pregnancy, forcing him to move forward without another option. But that responsibility couldn't dispel his anxiety, and the wedding day, which should have been the happiest day of their lives, became a day of stress for Alexander. When the ceremony ended and the guests left, Alexander felt relieved, but the anxiety still weighed heavily on him. He wondered if he could handle the responsibility, whether marrying Emily would truly bring happiness to both of them, or if it was just a rushed decision for which he would pay later. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more content.